Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. Today is Tuesday, so my buddy Satoshi Sean's joining me, and we've got a couple challenges for you. Actually, they're not from us, but I'm going to bring them to you via the new normal show. And what's up with the chemtrail challenge? What was my other? Oh, and some great news out of Oklahoma about some Bitcoin. Sovereignty. So I'll be right back with Sean right after this. Give us a like and share the video, please. How are you doing? Did you get through? We had wild weekend here in Oklahoma with all the weather.
Yeah.
And I was texting you because I was worried it started because it swept down and came down near you. And so I texted you to make sure you were paying attention. Did you end up getting any bad weather, hail?
Yeah, we got a lot. It's weird because I got an alert from Fort Hood. Everyone calls it Fort Hood. It's still called Fort Hood. The signs say Fort Hood. And I got the alert had the new name. And I was like, what?
What is the new name?
I forget.
Oh, dang it.
I got I'm going to see if it's still here. But
you know, in that last NDAA of Trump's, or is it NDDA? I think it's NDAA. There was the largest transfer of military property and like financial structure ever announced in that to be completed. And maybe that was one of those bases that was turned over, that the ownership was turned over to.
No, it was a politically correct thing.
No, I don't believe you. Come on, I like my story better.
Nobody's accepting it because it's a politically correct thing. And they're like, oh, here we go.
Oh, they're not. People are just not acknowledging
Fort Cavazos.
Cavazos?
Because Cavazos.
Is it Jim Caviezel?
No, Cavazos, like the Carlos Cavazos from Quiet Riot.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, it was like Fort Cavazos. That's what Fort Hood is, but I've never heard it.
What does Cavazos mean?
It's just some dude.
Mm-hmm.
What if he's like Che Guevara person? And they named the largest U.S. military.
How do you spell it?
CAV. Azos.
Just OS?
ASOS, yeah. It's
ASOS.
Yeah, Cavazos.
After Richard E. Cavazos, military personnel.
There you go.
Let's look him up.
Yeah, Cavazos.
Veteran of the Day. He was a Distinguished Service Cross. Fort Cavazos, redesignation to Army garrisons. What's an Army garrison?
Base.
Okay. Yeah. He was in the Korean War, like my daddy.
What was Fort Hood named for?
Why is that? Why would be naming it after him be a politically correct thing?
He's not a white guy.
He's an American. What do you mean he's not a white guy? Oh, he grew up on a cattle ranch. Played football in college. You don't get more American than that.
It was named after John Bell Hood, a Confederate general who led troops during the American Civil War. Hood was born in Kentucky. So that's it. He wasn't just white. He was Confederate.
Hood was.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying it's not so much the Cavazos is Hispanic looking, or maybe his last name sounds Hispanic. Oh, Cavazos to honor a Hispanic. Okay. Fort Hood, the third largest military base, was renamed Fort Cavazos to honor a Hispanic American Army leader rather than a Confederate general.
It's the biggest military base on the planet. We used to say free world, but now they're not even. Soviet Union's gone. So
The Great Place. And is this the a real picture of the gate?
yeah,
Those are somewhat Space Forcey, but home of 3 armored corps. Huh.
Fort Bragg is the biggest. It's also the largest by population, which we have this. The numbers are the same. They're bigger overall square miles. It's 250 square miles. They are.
Mhm.
Not.
So he was recognized for his Cavazos was recognized for his innovative leadership in the Corps in 1982. He again made history by being appointed the first Hispanic 4-star general. Texas Tech
They
alumni.
should have named it for Benavides. Benavides.
Who's that?
That guy's cool. He's chubby, happy, nice Mexican dude who, you remember when Forrest Gump kept running and getting the people of Vietnam, people that were down and hurt, he just kept running.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's based on Benavides. He got shot like 7 times, but he ran back and got like 11 people. He would just run, get shot once or twice, carry 2 people back, run in, get shot again, bring another guy out. It's an insane story. I think he has like a fake ear. There's some body part he took off when we were all out to lunch. It was funny. But he was a really cool guy, really nice guy.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, there's some real heroes in our military. I was walking the other morning and listening to the story of this guy who was like in a gunfight, and he had actually gone back into the military at age like 35 or something, and the recruiter asked him, what position, I guess they ask you like what job you want or whatever after you take your test, and he said, I want the most difficult one. And so they put him in infantry, and he ended up in live fights in like Afghanistan, and he knew he got hit in this one fight, and to draw attention away from his group, because he like had a moment with God and was like, look, you're either going to let me go home to my new son, or I'm going to meet you, you're going to take me out here. But it's your will. And then he went like running down the hill and drew all this fire and like saved basically the rest of his crew by doing that. It's an amazing story to hear about these heroes that we have, fighting for us. Pretty humbling.
There's where's I'll send it to you on the private chat. Look at that. It has a wiki.
Who?
Benavides.
Benavides.
Yeah. In 1965, he was sent to South Vietnam as a Special Forces advisor in the Army of the Republic of Vietnam Infantry Regiment. During his tour of duty, he went on a solo reconnaissance mission to gather intel on enemy troops. It was at that moment that he stepped on a landmine during a patrol and was evacuated to the United States.
He lost his
He conducted stuff. He said he'd never walk in. He did. Where's the stuff? Got out of bed against doctor's orders. On May 2, Special Forces, which included 9 Montguard tribesmen, was surrounded by NVA infantry battalion, about 1,000 men. Benavides heard on the radio appeal for help and boarded a helicopter to respond, armed only with a knife. He jumped from the helicopter, carrying his medical bag, and ran in to help the trap patrol. Benavides distinguished himself by a series of daring and extremely valorous actions, and because of his gallant choice to join voluntarily, his comrades, who were in critical straits, to expose himself constantly to the withering enemy fire, and his refusal to be stopped despite numerous severe wounds, saved the lives of 8 men. At one point in the battle, an NVA soldier, a accosted him and stabbed him with his bayonet. Benavides pulled it out, drew his own knife, and killed him, and then kept going, leaving his knife in the NVA soldier's body. He later killed 2 more NVA soldiers with an AK-47 while providing cover fire for the people boarding a helicopter after the battle. He was evacuated to base camp, examined, and thought to be dead as he was placed in a body bag. I remember that. Placed in a body bag among other dead in body bags. He was suddenly recognized by a friend who called for help. The doctor came and examined him, but Benavides was dead. The doctor was about to zip up the body bag when Benavides managed to spit in his face.
Wow.
To show him that he was alive.
What a badass.
Benavides had a total of 37 separate bullet and bayonet holes, shrapnel wounds from the 6-hour fight with the enemy. Yeah.
The 6 hours of hell, it's called.
Yeah.
And he got 4 Purple Hearts for that.
Yeah, he got
and lots of other.
Medal of Honor.
Yeah, and the Medal of Honor.
Yeah, like you wouldn't know. He's like just a fun, nice, like silly guy.
Amazing. I bet he appreciates life so much more than some of us do sometimes. Sorry about the late start. I had to reboot everything for some reason. My computer is really glitching this morning. I was having trouble as well. I don't know if it's the storms happening, but I want to talk a little bit about that. I had a friend send me, we just had these big tornadoes all over the country, like more than we've ever seen. The town of Sulphur was like destroyed. There were deaths.
Yeah, baby.
Terrible.
It was bad. Yeah.
Really terrible. But this guy, Into Thin Air, I had watched a couple of his videos on YouTube, and then I guess he was following me, so I followed him back, and I had a friend send me this video, another video, but this is talking about tonight. So tonight there's another wave coming in from like the Texas thing, but he was noticing these frequency waves, and I don't know if that's chemtrails and then the frequencies being shown by that. I don't know why the volume's not working on that one, but I had these playing earlier. But I'll put these in the Telegram for you guys to look at. And then on this second one, he shows the frequency waves and
the ripples in the clouds.
Yeah, it's very strange. Uncle Cliff has a challenge. He's giving out 3 gold eagles, I believe. Definitely go to his Substack, listen to his latest podcast to get that information. But the challenge starts May 1st, and which is tomorrow. And he said he's going to, for whatever, there's going to be, a tweet. Whatever tweet is liked and shared the most, whatever video is shared the most, and one other, maybe it's just a static picture. I can't remember what the third one was, but he's going to give out 3 gold coins around the first part of June. He said, I'm not going to do the work. Don't send these to me. Do not email me any chemtrail pictures. But if you post them on Twitter, let Twitter do the work, and whatever has the biggest, he said, tag him in it. And then, so I posted this information about tonight because they're already talking about huge storms over the night. And these videos are very strange. But then I went out and I was like, oh, well, so now I'm thinking about chemtrails and looking for them. Today, even my little boy goes, wow, the sky's so blue. It's so clear. And I'm out walking to my walk this morning. There's like nothing where I usually have them all over the place. So I don't know how this is going to play out. I know recently Tennessee passed a law to end
they're illegal.
Any spraying of chemicals in the air to manipulate weather, or I don't remember how they worded it.
Chemicals. See, the thing, and this is something that's really, really bad. They spray heavy metals into the air, which I remember watching this, and it was
copies of Judas Priest.
Oh, that's very funny. Alex said copies of Judas Priest albums are
Not that kind of heavy metal. It's
Like,
not a free concert, Alex.
it was this concert, or this county, and it was their, like, just their public access. And these people did their own study, like they paid for it. And they're like, autism and this and that are up like 400% in our county. And we took samples of rainwater and grass, and in the food there was like crops, and they said there's like all this lead and titanium and all these other metals. And they're like, here's a study. We paid like $10,000 to get this study done.
Mm-hmm.
And the city council was like, or the county board, or whatever, they're like, it's fine, don't worry about it. They're like, there's all these chemtrails. We're putting this into the atmosphere. It's causing these other problems, and they just like dismissed it. And I remember watching that. I was like, how is this not like this huge thing? Why isn't this being talked about everywhere? Because they paid for this study. The study came back. It was all there. And I don't know. I talked to you about this. It was a year ago about nanotechnology and how they're putting all this stuff, these nanoparticles in our food. Not in other places in the world.
So you're talking about like PFAs or more like metals? Because I know the PFAs, like that was also in the NDAA from 20.
No, they're putting metals in, and there's this weird law circumvent that the FDA has. It says to any company that if you use anything in a product and it's been approved, that technically it's safe for you to use in other products. You don't have to like come and ask for permission or anything. It's called like SAS, like safe enough. It's like the equivalent of good enough for government work. There's like the 3 letters for it. Anyway, so they use titanium and other metals because they would make things really bright white, and they put it in toothpaste. But people just spit it out, when it's in toothpaste. But they added it to number one, they added it to the cartons and everything because it makes things brighter. But they added it to like cereal, and it's in a lot of milk, yogurt to make it a brighter white, not like gray, to make it really look cleaner and pop.
Well, I can tell you that anything approved by the FDA, from my experience with and working with Dr. McDaniel, when they were trying to get the aloe vera approved as through the FDA, and then he was like threatened. I mean, it was a whole his story.
They don't have to look for approval.
Well, they have to show lethal dose to have it approved. So that should scare the hell out of everybody, that anything that is approved has shown lethal dose, has a proven lethal dose,
so
or they will not approve it.
Like watchdog groups that have done, research on it, but they're not allowed to, do anything on humans. Like the FDA has to do that,
right?
So they've done these research studies, and the studies found that these particles are so small that they can break through the cell wall.
Like the mitochondria
into the blood barrier. The blood barrier, it can break through that, so it can go all throughout your body, but it all settles because it's a heavy metal. It can build up. It can cause all these problems, and it's never been tested for people to eat it like in cereal or in yogurt. But just because it was approved for toothpaste in the 50s, that legally they can use it. And it's like asbestos. Asbestos is not bad for you. It doesn't do anything to you. But over time, you breathe it in and it settles. It's the same thing. And it took like huge public outcry for them to do anything about asbestos. And it's the same thing with this. It's like there's no public outcry yet. But back then, we actually had like a media.
As soon as there is, it'll be just like the 3M story with Teflon. They already have the next product that's just like it, just name something different and the chemical's a little bit different, and they'll push that through and say, "Oh, well, it's in trials and it's going through this, and so go ahead and use it," until the consequences of, like, children that have their mothers were given thalidomide show up, and then people get angry, you know? I mean, we are so poisoned by our food
Yeah.
system and
I think these they're already illegal, like in Europe and
Mhm.
a lot of other countries, just straight up illegal. In some places they're allowed, like in the packaging, but not in the food itself. So
Well, Charlie and I are doing all this thrifting and flipping stuff and whatever, and we've come across all these refrigerator dishes, which we're both are obsessed with. But that's what they used before Tupperware was if you had leftovers, they went in a glass uh, box or bowl with a lid and in your ice box, and that was your leftovers or whatever. And then we had this huge move to plastic and everything, we drink out of plastic bottles. We've got plastic,
yeah,
in we're microwaving our food in plastic. I mean, my God, it's terrifying. They serve us
I
everything in
was
plastic.
remembering like you had to be careful
And
because
plastic is a petrochemical.
it was ketchup. I was looking at this like giant ketchup bottle,
Mm.
and I was thinking about how everything was glass before when I was a kid. I remember like having to be careful because so many times you'd break the shampoo bottle in the bathtub, when you're
Oh,
taking a
yeah.
shower.
Dangerous.
So it was like you had to be careful. Or Prel, that came in a toothpaste tube shampoo. But that
What?
was like that. Yeah, that was like the revolutionary thing. It's like, oh, you don't have to worry about having a glass bottle because you can get this, in a tube. But yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, everything was glass before, but then everything was like reusable, recyclable,
Right.
and then we went to plastic and just throwing it away, and the one use dispense, um, and that really infected us. Now everything is. There's no more TV repair. There's no more electronics repair. It's like, oh,
What's it called? Planned obsolescence, where as soon as the warranty's up, it's
yeah,
designed to break.
yeah, yeah. People don't even care about warranties. I remember because I bought, everyone's cell phones, and when they first started going up, and it was like $1,000 each. And I was like, my God, it's like $5,000. What? There has to be a warranty or something. And they wanted to sell me a warranty. They're
Wow.
like, yeah, pay this, like it was like only $6 a month. And I'm like, dude, this costs $1,000. This should have like a 5-year
Mhm.
warranty or like a lifetime warranty. I've never paid that for a TV. And there's TVs that had like 10 years warranty.
Wow. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Um, so we talked about Twitter's or Uncle Cliff's challenge. Um, Also, Reggie Middleton has opened up a challenge um, to recruit for people that are kind of tech minded, I guess. Um, it seems like he's talking about. Let's look at his tweet. Oh, that's my tweet. Top screen. We'll talk about that in a sec. Have you had a chance to read the PPE paper yet? Proof
You
of productive effort consensus mechanism. I want to make this a WBRT episode and get everybody's input on this because it is a DAO
Joe just
idea. Do what?
Joe just messaged me as you were saying that.
Oh, perfect. Um, So I'm really looking forward to see this go through. There are so many ideas for DAOs, but it's really, you don't want that option of people speculating on other people's work because then that's that, Howey test thing. And so he's come up with a really simple, I say simple. I had to read through it twice and I still have questions. But it's really brilliant and I think he's doing more good things for humanity. So appreciate that. I encourage everybody to see that. I do have it pinned in Telegram, um, the document, or you can go to Reggie's Twitter and click on this Google Docs, and he has it open for comments as well. So encourage everybody to participate in that. The other big news I had that I was really excited about was Oklahoma. This passed our House and our Senate. House Bill 3594 by a vote of 36-5. Once signed by the governor, it will protect fundamental Bitcoin rights, establish key definitions for the state of Oklahoma. The bill protects the right to self-custody, the right to mine Bitcoin, and the right to run a full node. And this was put together by the Oklahoma Bitcoin Association team, working with Senator Bill Coleman and Representative Brian Hill. Thank you to the Satoshi Action Fund for invaluable time, resources, and support in this effort. So pretty proud of them for getting that passed through. And I'm curious what the actual language is in it. If they, I'm sure it was Bitcoin maxis that helped put it together or whatever, but I would think it would be really interesting. Oh, yay. IAM says, let's plan it. Let's even do an audible. And okay, I'll send the white paper to the WBRT group and we can maybe do an audible if that's cool with everybody. Just an idea. But anyway, I'm curious if the Oklahoma Bitcoin House bill, if that is to all proof of work, if it's to all cryptocurrencies, is it Bitcoin specific? So I need to do some more work and look into that. But I think that's kind of all these things are happening. I know the HSBC bank CEO just stepped down today. So after another bank failure happened over the weekend
Yeah, they're starting to drop.
They are all kind of, and they're being forced to take on so that banks that are existing are being forced to take on the debt or loss of the bank that's dying. And so it's just like a snowball of this magical debt. So I think it'll be interesting. I'm ready for it to all blow apart for sure.
It's getting a little scary, but we're seeing it happen. It's just so. I mean, history is going to be like, you all people were just so stupid. It's like,
I don't
you
know.
let these people make money that's fake and then buy all the real stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just, why would you let them do that?
Well, and why are you paying taxes if they can just print money like we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Like, why? Well, you can just print up money for my tax bill. Just print that up. When you send an old Zelensky a check, you can just send one in for me too.
And then, I mean, people are asking that common sense thing. It's like, how can we afford to do that, but we can't afford to? And, California is in so much trouble because it's been always said, this number has been thrown around. It would cost $20 billion to fix the homeless problem in America, to fix it. And California spent $26 billion in the past 3 years. And they're about to have an audit and they don't know they can't show where the money went. So that's like the Pentagon thing, when
I wonder, in Oklahoma, we have Cindy Bird is an auditor here. She's a state auditor, and she has been going around like auditing every city, every county, and doing these reports. And where's the missing funds? And here's this. And we had an issue with our state parks and some contracts that there were some things missing. And it's just like, I'm wondering if they're doing that in every state or only in Oklahoma. So if you guys hear about if you see a state auditor in your state and you see that they're doing these audits and posting these reports, or check into it in your state and share that information with us either on the Telegram group or in a comment of one of these videos, because I'm really curious to see if that's
I am something. There's this says you work a lifetime, save money for retirement, paying your taxes along the way, and then bam, capital gains tax. BS. I got a worse scenario for you. And this happened. There was this nice YouTuber. Oh, I forget his name. But he was huge back, 2016, 2015. big crypto YouTuber, and this is when was it Venezuela when they first started having all their trouble and their money went to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, my wife is Venezuelan. She's from Venezuela, and he would go down there, and he was bringing once you cross the border, before you cross the border, you can do a money exchange. They have an exchange place there.
Oh, okay.
And he brought, it was like, little grocery bags. It was like 8 of those full of money, right? And it was literally like $500.
Oh my God,
It
how
was like
terrible.
$100. But the the customs people went through all of the money because people were smuggling in. Like you could take 20 stacks of this money, bolivars, and just slide in $100 bill in there.
Oh, and it's worth so much more.
It's worth so much money. So they had to make sure that there wasn't any money slipped in there. And he got down there and just showed people how to do crypto, how to use it. But the thing is, his wife's father, they were like upper middle class, pretty good, well off. Her dad had like a college graduate job. They've been saving their money. They had $250,000 saved for retirement, and within, it was like 4 months, it was like $1,000. It went down that much. So these guy worked his whole life, saved money, put it in the bank, and then when he's about to retire, it's all worthless. It all
Well,
goes.
that's where inflation is the most cruel form of taxation, because it hurts the least of these the most. Those that thought they had
They
enough.
stole his money. They
Yes,
stole his
that's
labor.
what they're doing when they print up
40
in
years.
US dollars and
Yeah.
send them. When they create more US dollars, they're stealing our value out of our dollars.
That was 40 years of his labor.
Right.
That's like 20 years of it he saved and put aside, and they took it. They took it with inflation. It was so crazy when that
I
happened.
think that's the only way people are going to wake up, though. I think we're going to have to go through that here, because we think we're in this little snow globe behind white picket fences in America, and that won't happen to us. And the FDIC will bail us out. But
I think it's worse than it's us. I think that so many people see the world as it's not as bad as it is because of that, because they're in the bubble here. If you think back when Trump said shithole countries, and that they took offense, and oh my God, no! If you can't admit that there are shithole countries,
then
you have a problem.
Safe and
It's that because I think they think everything's okay everywhere else. It's not as good as here, but it's not that bad. It's sensationalized for the news, and it's not. There are shithole places. You have to admit that. That's why everybody wants to leave them and come here.
I'm with you. Well, I think that's those are the things I wanted to touch on over here. I wanted to talk to everybody about Uncle Cliff's chemtrail challenge, so everybody can get tagging him and hashtag chemtrails. Get those out there. Whatever test he's trying to run, I want to encourage everybody to be a part of it. And then I was giving Oklahoma a heads up, thumbs up, way to go, Oklahoma. There we go. For your new Bitcoin house bill, and then talk about Reggie's new white paper announcement. So I will post that in the WBRT chat and see if we can do an audible on Thursday morning on Dragon Chain. You guys make sure to like and subscribe here, like and subscribe over on Sean's where we're going next, and like and subscribe over at Dragon Chain to watch us on Thursday mornings on World Blockchain Roundtable. So
All right. I'll see you over on my channel.
Okay.
Don't forget to hit the like button.
Right there.